My sister had a birthmark on her face the size of a hand. The wise villagers said it was a demon, a parasite, two souls sharing one body. When she turned 18, a group of ruffians dragged her into the cornfield. My mother, Eleanor, said a girl who loses her purity doesn't deserve to live. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next chilling stories. Now let's dive into the case. Tattered and broken, my sister knelt before my mother, pleading for her to seek justice. With a look of disgust, Eleanor kicked her to the ground. "What are you crying for? You're ugly as sin. You should be grateful someone touched you. What's with the wronged act?" My sister's eyes widened in disbelief. My mother had always been cruel, but my sister was still her child. She never thought her purity would be worth so little in Eleanor's eyes. Just as my sister was losing all hope, my mother's tone shifted. "Purity is the most important thing for a woman. You've been defiled. What's the point of living? Don't stain our family's honor." I watched the light in my sister's eyes fade. She lay curled up at my mother's feet, whispering that she didn't want to die, that she would live like a teen if she had to, as long as she could live. My mother laughed, a sound of pure contempt. Without a second thought, she grabbed a red rope and choked my sister to death. After she was gone, Eleanor spat on her face. "You ugly slut! You had the gall to be flirty?" After a moment's rest, she ordered me to help her dump my sister's body in the graveyard. When Eleanor wasn't looking, I secretly pricked my fingertip, letting a single drop of blood fall onto the birthmark on my sister's face. The next day, a stunningly beautiful woman appeared in our village. She said she was a student from the city, here to collect plant samples. She stopped at our door, pulled out a stack of cash, and handed it to my mother. "Auntie, I know this is sudden, but you look so friendly. Could you take this money and rent me a small room here?" My mother squinted, sizing the woman up, then glanced at the leering men behind her. She took the money, grabbed the woman's hand, and said, "Not a problem. Feel free to stay with me." That evening, as the woman was washing her hair, I crept up behind her. "This isn't a place you should be," I whispered. "If you can still leave, you should go now." She turned and smiled at me. "My name is Thea. This place is wonderful. I love it." I frowned, wanting to say more, but Thea cut me off. "No matter what your reason, I won't leave. I have my own reason to be here. You don't need to say more." My mouth opened, but I couldn't speak. I just ran back to my room. The next morning, Eleanor told Thea not to go too far, then left. I knew she was going to negotiate a price. After she was gone, I looked at Thea and said, "I'll give you one last piece of advice. If you want to escape, follow the path behind the mountain, past the graveyard. It will lead you out of the village." Thea scoffed. "My purpose here is not yet complete. I'm not going anywhere." I closed my eyes, saying nothing else. A person who is meant to die cannot be saved by good advice. I had done all I could. The second harvest, my mother returned in the evening with a group of men behind her. Their eyes were full of lechery as they stared at Thea. Before Thea could even speak, they hoisted her into a room. The screams from inside were so horrific, I covered my ears, unable to listen. My mother saw me and kicked me to the ground. "Oh, what's this? You have a soft spot for her. Look at yourself. You think a city girl like her would ever look at a freak like you?" I bit my lip, not daring to reply. Eleanor stepped on my face, ordering me to cook dinner. I scrambled up, hobbling to the kitchen. The men left around midnight. My mother was already asleep. I took a portion of food to Thea's room, only to find her smiling as if nothing had happened. But the smile was so unnatural it made me drop the plate. The next morning, Thea told my mother that she had decided to stay. She had been humiliated anyway and couldn't escape, so she was willing to stay and make money for Eleanor, as long as she was treated well. My mother was overjoyed. Thea's beauty and poise captivated every man in the village. They came to our house whenever they had a chance. Eleanor counted her money every day, grinning as she told me to serve Thea well. "When she's old," she said, "I'll marry her off to you." Thea rarely went out. 3 times a day, I brought her food. Every time I entered her room, I saw clumps of hair on the floor, large and strange, and there was a putrid stench. But it seemed I was the only one who could smell it. A month later, every married woman in the village became pregnant. The men came to our house even more frequently, complaining that their pregnant wives did nothing but eat all day, their bellies swollen like drums. Everyone was saying the same thing. I felt a sense of dread. Something was wrong. That afternoon, when Eleanor went to play cards, I ran to the woods behind the mountain. 2 years ago, a wandering monk had come to our village, seeking a quiet place to meditate. I often snuck up to the woods to play with him. He was the only person who would talk to me. When I arrived, I saw the monk smiling warmly from afar. But as I got closer, his expression changed instantly. He gestured for me to be silent. He then spun his prayer beads around my head twice and let out a sigh of relief. "My child, what's wrong? Why are you so full of the energy of the dead?" His words sent a shiver down my spine. So it was true. Thea was not normal. Pale and trembling, I told him everything about her. After listening, his face grew grim. "Master, is Thea a ghost?" I whispered. The monk shook his head. "I'm afraid it's not a ghost. It might be a reanimated corpse." "What's a reanimated corpse?" "A person who has died but whose body is still active." I fell silent. After a long pause, the monk asked, "Did you come to me to have me stop it?" I hesitated, then shook my head firmly. "No, I just want to protect myself." The monk sighed. "In this noisy world, everything has a cause and effect. The people of your village sowed evil seeds. They will have to bear the bitter fruit. But you, I understand you. You are not an evil person." He gave me 2 yellow paper talismans. "Hang one above your bedroom door and carry the other with you. That thing won't be able to harm you. Remember, never take it off." I carefully put the talisman in my pocket, nodding. "I understand." When I returned, Thea was leaning against the doorframe. She seemed more beautiful than ever, her skin radiant and otherworldly grace about her. She smiled as she looked at me. Knowing she was a reanimated corpse, my blood ran cold, and I couldn't meet her eyes. But Thea didn't seem to notice. She took a step toward me, but suddenly stopped 2 steps away. She frowned, her face turning ugly. "What's on you?" she hissed. I put my hand in my pocket, touching the talisman, and felt a sense of relief. I didn't answer. Thea was about to ask again when my mother returned. Thea leaned in, speaking only for me to hear. "Don't trust anyone. I won't harm you. These people deserve to die, but I want you to live." Her words stunned me. Before I could process them, Eleanor was upon me, kicking me to the ground. "You're back, and you're already misbehaving. You're a lowlife. You think you're worthy?" I curled into a ball, letting her beat me. When she was tired, I got up and went to my room. The plagues of the living dead. The next morning, I was woken by screams from the yard. As I opened my door, I heard people saying there was trouble. They say Mr. Davis's wife ate a pig and her husband chopped her to death. I squeezed through the crowd. "But isn't his wife pregnant? He killed her just for eating a piece of pork." "If it was a normal piece of pork, it wouldn't be an issue," someone replied. "But she ate a live piglet. She snuck into the pig pen at midnight and devoured a piglet whole." My hair stood on end. Mr. Davis's wife was a normal, clever woman before she got pregnant. Why would she do something like that? Was something truly wrong with them? Old Man Johnson's face grew dark. "Lately, all the pregnant women in the village have been eating strangely, right?" His words hit the crowd like a bomb. It was true, and Old Man Johnson's expression was grave. "This is not simple. It seems we've been cursed by something evil." His eyes flickered toward our house. "I'll go to town and find a sorcerer. While I'm gone, everyone stay together. Don't go anywhere alone." He left, leaving behind a terrified crowd. I ran home in a panic. Thea was combing her hair. Chunks of her scalp were coming loose, and her face was beginning to show signs of decay. I suppressed my fear and said, "You have to run. They're getting suspicious. Old Man Johnson is bringing a sorcerer back. You have to go now or it'll be too late." Thea put down the comb and smiled, a gruesome smile that made the skin on her face fall off. "I can't go. I told you my purpose isn't complete." "But what if you die?" I pleaded. "Then you'll never achieve your goal." Thea's smile remained. Who says an end can't be a beginning? That evening, the sorcerer arrived. He was a man in his 40s. He told us to call him Uncle Ma. He glanced at the pregnant women in the village, and his face immediately went dark. Corpse fetuses, he muttered. They're all corpse fetuses. Corpse fetuses? What's that? A man whimpered. Uncle Ma sighed. Insects from a corpse have entered their wombs. They're absorbing the yuan qi resentment of the women. In time, they will destroy the mothers. The crowd panicked. Master, are our wives going to die? Can you save them? We spent a lot of money to get married. They only cared about their wives and money. Uncle Ma scowled, took a deep breath, and shouted, "Yes, there is a way." The crowd quieted down. All we have to do is burn the host of the corpse insects, the reanimated corpse. That will solve everything. Don't worry. Without needing direction, Uncle Ma walked straight to our house. Thea was leaning against our door, combing her hair. She looked completely different from the rotting version I had seen earlier. She was absolutely stunning, beautiful and alluring, with a smile that could topple a kingdom. Even though I knew she was a corpse, the men with Uncle Ma couldn't stop themselves from drooling. Uncle Ma cleared his throat, waking them from their daze. He frowned at Thea. "You are already a living corpse. Why would you harm innocent people?" Thea smiled gently. "Talk is cheap without evidence. You can't be sure I've harmed anyone, and it's certainly not right to call me evil. But the people standing behind you, that's another story." Uncle Ma scoffed. "How dare you argue? If you weren't evil, why are the women in this village pregnant with corpse insects?" As he spoke, Thea burst into laughter. "You know they're pregnant with corpse insects, so why don't you know how they got that way? Do you think I could force such a thing on them?" Uncle Ma's face turned pale. "Regardless," he ground his teeth, "you are dead and still walking among the living. That is wrong." Thea kept her gentle smile. "You are truly a just man. What will you do with me? I won't resist." Uncle Ma still looked unsure, but when he ordered the men to tie her up and she complied without a struggle, he believed her. He had them gather a large amount of peach wood, which is known for repelling evil, to burn her. Throughout the process, Thea continued to smile. Her face showed no other emotion. It was as if she wasn't going to her death, but attending a solemn ceremony. When the fire blazed, her smile became even more radiant. I watched as Thea burned to ash, but something still felt wrong. If she just died like that, what was her purpose? She kept talking about her purpose. What was it? When Uncle Ma saw nothing but ash, he finally relaxed. He told every pregnant woman to take a handful of Thea's ashes, mix them with water, and drink it. In 3 days, the corpse insects would be expelled. The villagers trusted him now, and they all rushed to get the ashes. Everyone thought the story of Thea was over, but the next day, the pregnant women's bellies grew even larger, and they ate even more. Old Man Johnson's face turned ashen. He was about to find Uncle Ma when news came. Uncle Ma was dead. He was found on the road, chinned and detended, a slow, painful death. The village fell into chaos. That evil woman must not be fully dead. She's back for revenge. If Uncle Ma, who was so powerful, is dead, what are we going to do? Old Man Johnson slammed his cane twice on the ground, quieting the crowd. He thought for a moment. "Don't worry, we're not at the end of the road yet. Remember the monk who lived in the mountains a few years ago? He has some real skill. If we find him, we might still have a chance." My heart sank. They were going to find the monk? "Old Man Johnson," I said tentatively. "The monk doesn't get involved in worldly affairs. He might not help." Old Man Johnson's eyes narrowed. "He has to help. If he doesn't, we'll all die." I said nothing more. Old Man Johnson led a group of men to the mountains. At first, the monk refused, but seeing the large, imposing group, he had no choice but to begrudgingly agree. Back in the village, the monk walked around, looking at the pregnant women. He sighed. The sorcerer was right. They are indeed corpse insects. But why didn't the ashes of the host body work? Unless... He looked up, his eyes widening. "Unless it's 2 souls in one body. Has any young woman died recently in this village?" My heart clenched. A young woman who recently died. Old Man Johnson thought for a moment. "Yes, the older daughter of Eleanor died a few days ago." "Eleanor is my mother," I said. The monk asked, "Did that girl have a birthmark on her face?" "Yes, how could she not?" my mother answered with disgust. A huge black patch. It was nauseating to look at. The monk slapped his thigh. I knew it. It's her. 2 souls in one body. Thea must be her. My stomach dropped. Thea was my sister? But she was nothing like her. The monk shook his head and ordered my mother to take him to my sister's body. Eleanor was unwilling. It was my own daughter. I know what she looked like. Why do we have to see that unlucky girl again? Seeing her hesitation, the monk yelled, "Do you want to die? Do you want to take the whole village with you?" Frightened, Eleanor led them to the graveyard. My sister's body was still where my mother had left it, undisturbed. As soon as she saw it, Eleanor began cursing. "That rotten, unlucky witch, she's still here." But as she got closer, she stopped dead in her tracks. In the summer heat, my sister's body was not rotting. Her skin was pink and radiant. The most shocking thing was that the birthmark on her face had disappeared. "What is this? What happened? Where's her birthmark?" my mother shrieked in terror. The monk knelt beside my sister's body. "One soul has vanished. It's no wonder the ashes didn't work and only made things worse. It seems the pregnant women drank the essence of her spirit." He looked at me. "So Thea was your sister. She told you not to trust anyone, that she wouldn't harm you. What did she mean?" The monk then gave everyone a yellow talisman. "Go home and stick this on your wife's forehead. It will temporarily contain the demon fetuses. Tomorrow at noon, I will seal this body in a peach wood coffin, and then everything will be over." Everyone was relieved. Their attitude toward the monk had changed completely. I felt cold inside. Humanity's warmth and coldness, its gatherings and dispersions, are all for profit. When the crowd dispersed, I approached the monk. "Master, was Thea really my sister?" He nodded. "Why was she so powerful after she died? Why could she harm the whole village?" The monk sighed. "She was born with a 2-part soul, extremely dangerous. But when the men violated her body, it inadvertently gave her power. The mingling of yin and yang is the very basis of heaven and earth." I understood now. Because of the men who came to our house, my sister became even more powerful. That night, I made a sedative tea for my mother. She drank it and went to bed early. I found her prettiest dress. When the streets were busy, I left the house. Someone asked me where I was going. "To change my sister's clothes," I replied, "so she can rest in peace tomorrow." A crowd of onlookers followed me to the graveyard. Over 100 men gathered, each with their own secret desires. Though they had seen my sister's body that morning, they were still mesmerized by her beauty. I looked at them and said weakly, "Could you help me change her clothes? I don't have the heart to do it myself." At first, they were hesitant, but my desperate pleas won them over. Everything happened just as I planned. After a night of disgusting debauchery, they left at dawn, swearing to secrecy. When they were all gone, I cut my wrist and let my blood drip onto my sister's mouth. "Sister," I whispered, "don't worry. In this world, there is cause and effect. These people truly deserve to die." The next day, the monk personally sealed my sister in the peachwood coffin and drove several wooden stakes into it. Everything went smoothly. After the burial, the monk wiped his brow and sighed in relief. "It's done. She is completely sealed. Your wives' bellies will shrink tomorrow." Everyone was ecstatic. Only my mother was unhappy. Why go to all the trouble of sealing her? Why not just kill her soul and be done with it? The monk scoffed. "Even if you hate her, she's still your daughter. You want to deny her a chance at reincarnation? That's truly evil." As I was about to leave, the monk called me back. He led me up the mountain, staring at me in silence. I knew what he was going to ask, but I waited for him to speak. After a long while, he sighed. "You were always a smart and eager student. I taught you much about the dark arts. Tell me the truth. Was it you who helped your sister's soul escape? Without your help, it couldn't have happened." I didn't deny it. I looked him straight in the eyes. "Yes, you taught me that a virgin's blood is a great tonic for a corpse. When my mother threw my sister in the graveyard, I secretly pricked my finger and dripped my blood on her birthmark. I didn't know Thea was my sister then." The monk sighed. "Why did you do that?" I took a deep breath. "Master, don't you remember? You always told me there is cause and effect in this world. My sister and I lived like dogs since we were born, and I never understood what we did wrong. My sister was violated. Was that her fault? Not only did she get no justice, but my own mother strangled her to death. Master, if I didn't do it, who would have fought for justice for us? Who would have restored the balance of cause and effect? The monk sighed, but you went against the way of heaven. It shouldn't have happened. It's a good thing it didn't cause a greater disaster. They lived in fear for days. That's their karma. I nodded obediently, but in my heart, I laughed coldly. Killing a person and being scared for a few days is enough? How could it just pass? How could it ever pass? When I got home, my mother was burning my sister's tattered clothes, cursing her for being unlucky. I stood before her and asked, if you hate us so much, why did you have us? If you don't like children, why did you want to have them? My mother didn't answer. She grabbed a fiery stick and began beating me. How dare you question me? I gave birth to you. I'll treat you however I want. I'll beat you to death, you animal. Go on, I thought. Beat me all you want, because after tonight, you might not get another chance. The next morning, I was woken by terrifying screams. The entire village was filled with wails of grief. I opened my door and saw that the pregnant women's bellies had been torn open. From within them crawled monstrous creatures, half human, half beast. They lunged at people. Those who were fast enough ran to the mountain to find the monk. The slow were ripped apart and eaten. My mother was screaming, cowering in a corner of our house. I quickly helped her to my room. The talisman from the monk was stuck to the doorframe, and the creatures dared not enter. I ran to the mountain, following the crowd. The monk was sitting on the ground, his face ashen. No, he muttered. She was clearly sealed. How did these parasites escape? Where did I go wrong? I said nothing, grabbing his hand and pulling him back down the mountain. Don't worry about it now, I urged. Come on, we can still save a few people. If we're late, everyone will die. The monk let me pull him down, his mind dazed. When we arrived, the village was a sea of corpses. He shook his head repeatedly, murmuring, where did I go wrong? Where? Just then, my sister appeared. She was beautiful, alluring, and mesmerizing, a beauty that made you shudder. When the monk saw her, his eyes contracted violently. It's you. How can it be you? It's impossible. I sealed you in a peachwood coffin. Even if you weren't fully destroyed, you should be extremely weak. How can you be out? My sister paid him no mind, her gaze fixed on me. Why did you bring him down here? I looked at her gently. Keeping him around would be a nuisance. Better to finish things once and for all. The monk's eyes widened in realization. It was you? I nodded. Yes, it was me. My sister died an unjust death, and I lived like a duke. Did you really think they were redeemed just because they were scared for a few days? Not nearly enough, Master. Not nearly enough. The monk looked at me in disbelief. I always thought you were a kind soul. I didn't see through you after all these years. I laughed coldly. Kindness? In a world so full of malice, how could I be kind? What would I use to be kind? It's not that I didn't want to be. This world never gave me the chance to be. I then gave my sister a signal. She looked at me and said, go home, little brother, don't look. It'll be a gruesome sight, you'll be scared. I looked at my sister deeply, said nothing, and went home. Eleanor was still cowering on my bed. What's happening out there? She asked excitedly. I looked out the broken window. It's almost over, I said calmly. Everything will be over soon. A moment later, my sister stumbled in. Her face was streaked with dirt and blood, and she looked incredibly weak. So ghosts can bleed? Eleanor's eyes were wide. You're... My sister smiled, her voice filled with a deep hatred. Mother, don't you recognize me? My mother screamed and ran. In a flash, my sister was in front of her, twisting my mother's neck until it broke. As Eleanor took her last breath, 2 lines of bloody tears streamed from my sister's eyes. She looked at me. Little brother, she's dead. We're finally free. That night, my sister killed everyone in the village. Not a soul was left. I thought to myself, it's for the best. This ignorant, backward village had not a single good person. Killing them all is a service to humanity. My sister asked me, what are you going to do now? I looked into the distance. I want to leave this place. I want to see the outside world. I want to start a new life, to live as a real person. My sister was silent for a moment. Do you really want to go? Yes, I said firmly. I want to go. I hate everything about this place. My sister smiled, a gentle smile. She reached out and patted my head. If you want to go, I'll go with you. You're my brother, my only family in this world. Wherever you go, I will be with you. My eyes darkened. While she wasn't looking, I stuck the talisman the monk had given me onto her forehead. But sister, I said, I don't want you to follow me. I hate everything about this place, even you. I want to escape from here completely. I'm sorry, don't be mad at me. My sister looked at me in shock, but then her expression softened. It's okay, live a good life. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. When my sister vanished, the last person who knew my dark past disappeared completely. I packed up all the valuable things left in the village and left, beginning a new life that belonged only to me. I've been a monk for 50 years. I still can't find enlightenment. Finally, I found a secluded village to meditate in. It's cut off from the world, and I rarely see outsiders. Except for one bright, curious little boy. He's very smart and eager to learn. He often asks me strange questions. Master, when you die, will you become a ghost? I smiled and said, if you have resentment, you will become a ghost. If not, you won't. He nodded as if he understood. The next day he asked, why are some people born ugly and others beautiful? I replied, looks are a reflection of the heart. Then why are some people born with a birthmark the size of a hand on their face? It's not fair. I was startled. Is there someone like that around you? He shook his head. No, I'm just curious. I sighed in relief. A person born with a large birthmark on their face is very rare. It's usually a person who has two souls in one body. A demon is sealed inside. He nodded. So if that person dies, will they become a demon? No, I said. The demon's soul is usually sealed. Only a virgin's blood can break the seal and free the demon. If the demon is freed, then what? I stared into his eyes. If the demon is freed, it will be very dangerous. It retains its humanity, but kills without a second thought. It will have its revenge. A revenge for all the hatred and resentment it has. If from the day I was born, I had a birthmark the size of a hand on my face. My mother hated me, and the whole village hated me. The only one who gave me any warmth was my younger brother. He was my only reason to live. I only wanted to see him grow up, get married, and have children. But God didn't even grant me that. When I was 18, the people who had always shunned me like a poisonous snake dragged me into a cornfield and violated me. My mother didn't protect me. She was the one who strangled me to death. I thought death was the end, but I never imagined my brother's blood would awaken me. He saved me. I couldn't die like that. I couldn't leave him alone in that nest of man-eating wolves. So step by step, I planned everything until I had killed everyone in the village. When my brother put the talisman on my forehead, I was shocked, but also relieved. I could have easily killed him then and there, but I didn't, because he was my brother. The only one who had ever shown me warmth. If he wanted my life, he could take it. It was better to vanish than to be reborn. This world is truly too cruel. Too cold. I don't want to live again. I'm just so tired.